What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Critical Beard here. I wanted to take the time to react to EA's most recent video that they did a live stream on Twitch, covering the gameplay mechanics and changes just overall that they've added to um, College Football 27 and Madden 27. Specifically, the things I'm most interested in are franchise, but I'm also excited to hear what you guys are interested in as far as the changes that EA's made. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
And we're going to talk gameplay. We're talking gameplay for both college football and Madden. So lock in with me here for about the next 15 plus minutes as we go over everything that we're delivering this year in gameplay. So first things first, this is your game. And over the past couple years, when you talk about these two games, one thing that you've been very adamant about is consistency and consistency of features. You don't want to see wear and tear in this game over here and not in this game over here. Anything that has been important or essential to core football, you've wanted that in both games, right? And so we listened to you and we understand. And so with that, we looked at everything. But we took a lot of the main, what we would call here that I'm going to outline for you. We looked at the differences between both games and really tried to make sure that they were different in their own right. That Saturday played like Saturday and Sunday played like Sunday. So again, one of those is on the sticks. How does the game feel, right? Typically college has been wide open. We still want that to be. It's about a game of big plays, but we did a lot more here. You look at playbooks, I think we've done as good a job as anybody. Right? We added over 2,500 new plays, probably plus. We've done a lot now in this realm, so stay with me as we go in here. And then coverage. What does coverage look like? What does a blanket corner in college look like comparative to the NFL? In the trenches, these are where games are won and lost, right? And so we've done a ton of work there. And then AI play. AI play, big point of emphasis for us this year. Abilities. I've always had that same back end, but I spoke two different languages. So a lot of cool things that were going on there. And then home field advantage, a big factor on wins and losses, on how these teams prevail and move on.
See, that's something that I've realized that EA is known for adding certain mechanics to the game and then taking it back out. So that's something I realized that's not really present in last year's game, but a couple of years ago they did have a home field advantage thing. So maybe they took it out because they wanted to rework it, but that's just something I noticed.
On into the postseason, something that had to be accounted for. So let's continue on. Again, going back to that, this is your game. The main thing that you asked for was that you wanted more tools defensively, and that was a focus. Not only did you want more tools, we really needed to shore up the coverage area. So we'll talk about that. Next is this is our built from game day. This is our authenticity pillar. This is where every team is somebody's favorite team. So we wanted to make sure that everything that they are showing, we are bringing to the digital gridiron. And last but not least is my favorite pillar. This is taking the two previous pillars and talking about how do we give you the tools to play your way. All right, so defense wins championships. You've heard it, and what you're going to see here, I think we're going to prove that. What's new? First is coverage. This is the biggest coverage revamp in the history of EA Sports Football. I will gladly put that stake in the ground, and you're going to see why. Something that adds to that, we're adding a new feature called Smart Zones. Next is, again, and this is for a lot of the scrambling cheesers, I know we got a couple back over here, is that those guys that love to just roll out and boot. And now you're not going to see linebackers just staring and looking into space with no one to guard. Guys will lock and chase and really take care of that organized chaos that we see every weekend.
They mentioned a lot of this stuff in the opening drive, so it just seems like they're going to be going a little more into detail on each of these aspects. But that's something I was very, very happy to hear, that they have a much easier way for you to get into your defensive adjustments that you want to make with really I think you can go into the game, they said, with pre-adjustments, I think up to 20, but 10 on each side of the ball. And it's only going to take like 2 clicks of a button to, to make those adjustments in the game. So, but specifically as it pertains to keeping scrambling to a minimum, or not even to a minimum, but having a defense to actually play the quarterbacks that run outside is going to be fun to see. It's all about implementation though, at the end of the day. How well are they going to implement these things, and is it going to make sense? Is it going to get nerfed? Is it going to be changed? So we'll see when we get it in our hands.
Red zone specific behavior. No longer guys on hitches or corner routes behind in the back of the end zone. They are now playing with the knowledge of what is behind them and to correctly use their leverage.
Ooh, that's good. I didn't know that. That's smart. So red zone specific behavior. Okay, I like that. I like that.
And then one of my favorites, and that you're going to see later on here, is we've added double team improvements, inside out, bracket logic, and just a new coverage focus mechanic that really allows you to put the tools in your hands to take away the other team's best player.
Real quick, let me just say this, y'all. I've been a Madden player since I was young. I'm in I'm old enough. I'll just put it that way. I'm old enough now to know just how far the game has come. I want to see how far the game has come, how long the game has taken to get to this point. I'll say, we've a lot of these features that are like, I'm saying wow to, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy to hear about this. It's because like these were common sense changes that should have been in the game a long time ago, but I just got to the point where you got to appreciate what you got, right? I mean, they could have not made any of these changes. They could have kept on that same that same trend of small adjustments and big complaints from us, that they didn't make enough changes, or the transition from year to year wasn't big enough in terms of features or in terms of gameplay mechanics and such. So I'm just at a place where I'm just appreciating what we got, and I can't lie, this really truly does seem like the best year as it pertains to getting the core features that the game needs into the game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that the change of ownership had a lot to do with this. I'm hoping that that's the case, because then maybe we can see a little bit more of this on a consistent basis, where EA can gain some trust back from the community. Because with Madden being the only game available for football fans, I feel like they really truly do have to appeal to all of their fans, all of their player bases. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with the simulation crowd, which for me, head coach is everything. And that was a nod to the head coach game that came out with back in the day. So anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent on this part. We're really early into the video, but point is, I'm happy to hear that, and the changes are finally making it into the game. So yeah.
And then for a lot of the heavy X's and O's guys out there, this game is as detailed as it's ever been, as we're adding user-controlled coverage checks. And then we bring everything home with what you see over the weekend is that hand-to-hand combat that's going on the outsides with our new wide receiver DB jostle mechanics. First, when you talk about revamping and overhauling our zones, we had to add look for work. What is look for work? Before, in games in Madden and college football history, you could have a middle linebacker sitting there, a crosser that is coming, and he doesn't play him until he enters his zone. Look for work now allows our CPU defenders to play with anticipation. This is a game changer when it comes to the defensive game. And as you can see here, I think we have Ernest Jones in this clip. He's moving, passing along.
My question is that the computer reacting like that? Because that is pretty damn good.
Along a crosser to then get to another crosser. So he's like playing it. He's going to take this, pass this crosser off, jump the next crosser again, playing with anticipation, making the play. Again, something you're going to feel immediately. Next is smart zones. This is giving you, both at an individual and team level, the ability to play a particular zone. Do you want to take that drag route? Well, now you have the ability to play aggressive or ultra aggressive. Is the quarterback consistently throwing that two ball over your head? running that deep crosser, put him in conservative or ultra conservative. The options are now yours, both again on a team or individual level. And here's an example, running slant and out to the flat, ultra conservative setting on, jumping the routes. Again, all that creativity now is just right there in your hands. Okay, and then
I love all of these adjustments, and my only question, and I believe it is a yes to this. The answer to this is a yes, but I just want to feel it for myself. My question is, does the computer have access to all of these adjustments as well? You know what I'm saying? Because for those of us that's going to be playing head coach mode, I want the computer to, make these types of adjustments as well. And again, I believe the answer is yes, but that's just like I don't think I've heard a certain answer, a specific response to that question.
one of my favorite aspects of what we're doing, we talked about the covered adjustment checks. We've added 25 different custom brand new checks to the game this year. So again, how do you want cover 1 to play trips? How do you want cover 4 to play bunch? All the options are there, both in the front end and your coach settings. So again, the world is your oyster when it comes to the defensive game this year. All right, now let's talk about the physical part of the game and what you see, again, on every Saturday and Sunday. And that's the wide receiver DB press. Yes, we have had this before. But what's new this year is that in previous years, receivers would just try to win. And they had no concept of where, what route they were previously running. In real life, if I'm running a comeback or I'm running an out route, I typically want to win to the outside. And now that is the case. On the other side, on the defensive side, if you're in a shade technique and he wants to get inside, that leverage is more important now than ever. We have boosted those win chances for the defensive side of the ball. So a great cat and mouse game. And then you combine that with receivers and their ability to now actually come back and play the ball, we got something good here cooking. And now, wide receiver DB jostle. So with our friends up at FC have doing a phenomenal job with this feature in the past. We wanted a 2-player system that didn't feel all snatchy and attached and feel like it was so scripted. And so DB with the wide receiver jostle, you can attach at 3 different points. You can attach on the move, you can attach at the cut point, or we like to call it the stem of the route, or when the ball is in flight. Now, for the first time in a Madden football game on the defensive sides, great corners like Aeneas Williams or Richard Sherman, guys who were fast but not top of the league fast, but who were elite at technique, being physical. Now when you attach and you can stay in phase with the receiver, you will slow him down. Again, this is not for everybody, not every matchup, because you got to still watch out for the burners like Tyreek Hill and others with that high 90 speed that can run away from you. But again, this is changing the timing of the routes. It changes the old visual look of the game. And again, defensively, this.
See, now what I love about this is it seems like this system is going to allow the high overall players to differentiate from the low overall players. So for instance, you know how we all, when we're starting a franchise or having any type of team, you want fast players, right? So if you have a 99, let's just say a 99 speed or even a 95 speed wide receiver going up against, let's say, a 90 speed or 89 speed, or even 91 speed cornerback, that speed difference, depending on the overall of the player, you should be able to feel that on the field. So, and I think this jostling system is going to really add to that, you know what I'm saying? Because then you think about it, your low overall guys may not have the I guess the route running capability to, create that kind of separation, or they'll just struggle at the line. Maybe they'll get jammed up, or they'll, just little things that'll throw them off their timing. Whereas, your Justin Jeffersons and your Smith and Jigbas, they'll be able to get to where they're trying to go and, finesse the DB perhaps, or perhaps the DB will still win, but that's the fight they're talking about. But I think this jostling stuff is just going to add a lot more realism and fighting, fighting for position to the receiving game.
Visual look and feel is something you're really going to appreciate, and just think of where has this been all along. All right, now let's get into our built from game day section. Again, our authenticity pillar. And when you talk about the differences between two games, nothing speaks to that more than playbooks. We've added over 1,500 new plays. And then one special one I'd point out is the shotgun power eye tight formation from West Virginia. Pretty cool stuff there. Next is short yardage gameplay, a continued investment in the trenches. Again, that's where games are won and lost. But
I got to say, I didn't like hearing this at first, but I can't lie. The implementation seems A1. It seems on point. It seems like it's going to actually, it doesn't seem gimmicky anymore. It seems like you actually earn that first down, So I'm kind of looking forward to actually utilizing this.
More in particular, inside the red zone, inside the 5. From there, we go into Smart Coach 2.0. For years, my guy Chad, other guys in the community, we've talked about our real-time coaching engine, which is second to none in this industry, and it's our adaptive, all the different tools that we got with adaptation. Pro football focus knowledge and scheme in there, and for years we've heard, hey, all these adjustments are going on. Why can't it just do it for me? Well, now you have that chance. You're going to see these hints that pop up in Madden, and it says, hey, we suggest this, this, and this. Hey, we're going to maybe pinch the line, show blitz. You can hit square and opt into it right at pre-play. You'll see the art change, and it's really rewarding when everything comes together.
That's cool.
Next in our quest to make the ball carrier, CPU ball carrier that is, as authentic and real looking as what you see in real life, or just make it feel and look more like a human, we have integrated a machine learning ball carrier pathing system. Some really exciting stuff going on in that field. And then sim heads rejoice because hot and cold is here, it's back, and it's back in a way that you've wanted.
I was about to say, they saying it's here. It's been in and out of the game, I think about 2 times now. So this will be the 3rd time it's been back. I'm just shooting from the hip when I say that. I know for sure it's been in the game before. I don't know if it's been 2 times in the past where it was added, removed, and now added back, but at least 1 time. So that's good to see, though.
Again, you're going to see a lot more highs and lows, not as much as what you see in college, but they say the kids at home will tell you, hey, you got to let the boys cook. So if my man Stafford is out here rolling the MVP, you're going to see it out here on Sunday. Coach chat, whether you're a coach at home, right, or you're seeing it on Saturdays, the ups and downs of these student athletes. You see some coaches maybe console and talk to a kid, or he just has to lay into them. Well, our version of that is introducing Coach Chat. Open up the dynamic subs menu, go down to the player that has the cold icon on him because he's rattled, go talk to him. But you only get 3 of these per game. Coach has got to coach, right? So you got to be very mindful. But it will take a cold player all the way back to neutral, level set him, and then get him ready to play the rest of the game. And then home field advantage. Again, sim heads, you've asked for this for years, but this is brought back in the most correct way possible. This is only impacting the visiting team. The biggest environments, such as Seattle, New Orleans, Kansas City, everybody has their own home field, but they are replicated as much as anyone because, again, playing a game in December should be much different than playing a game in January. And then dynamic weather. I know a lot of you have been reading a lot of forums. There's been a lot of assumptions around this. Dynamic weather is as cool as it gets, and nothing speaks to home field advantage like dynamic weather. And then abilities. We mentioned abilities earlier. And you know what? Let's get right to that. What are we doing with abilities? Okay. First off, when you look at abilities, it was important for us to have a unified football identity. Again, same back end, but they have both been speaking 2 different languages. And you guys, the fans, it is your game, have told us clearly that you prefer the college system of abilities, right? And so you look here at Colin Simmons, one of the best defensive ends in all of college football. He's got 5 physicals, right? We've had that, but that's his limit. So then how are we doing this on Madden? Now Madden is also having the tiered ability system, right? But we needed to have distinct progression here. When you talk about Madden, there is bronze to gold. Those are the tiers. But unlike college, where you get a percentage better at that set ability, here, each ability, or most abilities, come with different tools and weapons in your toolbox that really makes every player feel elite immediately. And then last but not least is that abilities in Madden are unlimited that you can have on a particular player. See it as when you go to Madden, that is the prime of your career. And then hot and cold, we just mentioned that. Well, how does that impact here? We have X factors. X factors will still be in Madden. The Heisman tier is still in college. You know, you got to let the boys cook to get up to that Heisman tier. But with that being said, you could still meet the criteria of an X factor ability, but if you're cold, it doesn't matter. So you got to be at least getting close to hot or a neutral and really get it going for your X factor can activate. Now,
I like that. That's nice. Because sometimes X Factors would activate and it just didn't seem within the flow of the game. You know, somebody, I don't know. Point is though, like I like that. It sounds like it's harder to get into that zone for your X Factors to activate. So it's not, not over, it's not abused, it sounds like.
let's get into the trenches. Here it is. Just over the years, our game has never looked the way it looks over the weekend, that being Saturday and Sunday. But I guess we're playing football, it seems like every day this week. But again, we have added a ton. 2-man Adams, 3-man Adams, 4-man Adams, submarine technique, cut block technique, as you can see here in last year's Madden 26 and just the QB sneak. And then what we've added here, here's the real life of what a quarterback sneak looks like. We needed to bring it all together and make you really fight for every yard. And so now you can see our all new quarterback sneak meter. Again, you're seeing different levels of green. Well, what changes the green? Now with the quarterback sneak meter, we're looking at your center, your 2 guards, who's in the A gaps, how many are in the A gaps, and then is it home field advantage? What type of pressure situation is of it? Are you going for it on 4th and 2? Is it 4th and a short 1? All of these things play into the different types of outcomes on how, that meter, how fast that meter will go.
I love how dynamic it is. So as you saw the lineman, the D lineman spreading out or pinching in, I love how, that changes the spread of that green zone. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Oh,
I just hope that the reticle is not easy. I hope it's like maybe faster for smaller quarterbacks, or, I hope it's dynamic in that way based on the size and, stature of your quarterback, on top of maybe even their overall rating. I don't know, but yeah.
all right, and then talking about in between the tackles, nothing says that more than pounding the rock. Championship teams got to have a foundational run game. So what we did here, this is talking about just CPU ball carriers only. We've used our cloning machine learning technology. We've put the controllers in some of the best hands in the studio to train this model. And this touchdown run that you were seeing is by a CPU ball carrier, something that we wouldn't see before.
Cool.
Again, they'll go inside, stay up the middle if they can, bounce it outside, get to the sidelines. And one of the most exciting parts of this is that it's a year 1 implementation. So where we're at now, we're super excited about. And then where we're going to go in the future is an awesome foundational.
See, that's awesome, because that's something I always wondered, if they could train the computer based on actual people's gameplay, and that those styles of gameplay being, intertwined in between different teams, you know what I'm saying? So like for instance, someone playing with Jahmyr Gibbs, or let's use Lamar Jackson, like the scrambling thing. Like I thought it would be cool if they could actually take the NFL footage, just like have a AI watch all that footage and replicate that in the game. You know what I'm saying? The reactions, that would be ideal. But I think it's even it's a more realistic, I guess, approach, or at the very bare minimum, it's a solid approach to use actual players' gameplay. So that's cool.
Beginning. All right, home field advantage. Whether it's Stafford trying to win a game in a cold, snowy Philadelphia, or Kansas City and Josh Allen is trying to pull it off inside of Arrowhead, you can look it up. Arrowhead in particular, and I think a few others, are louder than maybe 100,000 at LSU at night. Again, home field advantage is a factor depending on the team, depending on the year. Could be a 3+ point, odd when it comes to the NFL game. So it was just absolutely vital that we made this happen in a way. And how we're delivering this is very authentic to the NFL. A decimal meter will be placed on the top left-hand corner of the screen. You don't see the squiggly lines that you'll see in college. You won't see the meter pop up as much as you do in college, but it's very, very authentic to the game. And then, like I mentioned before, nothing speaks to home field advantage more than dynamic weather. We all saw what the AFC Championship looked like and just how the game changed in a half inside of Denver, right? And that is the same thing that can happen in your game in both college and Madden, okay? It can be clear and then it can get snowy. It can be just coming down hard and then clear up. And again, as the weather gets worse, the gameplay gets tougher. Movement starts to be affected, right? You remember us talking about this last year with weather ball. We've even added more to that. Slips, change of direction, everything is impacted by the weather. And now you're seeing stuff like dynamic accumulation and surface collision. Well, really, what does that mean? Snow can pile up, and hell, if your player decides to lay down in the snow and do a snow angel, you'll see it too. But just shout out to everybody that made this happen, because both from a gameplay standpoint, an artistic standpoint, an immersion standpoint, this is awesome. This is really what home field really reminds me of, and it's just immersion 101. All right, coming down to the home stretch. Play your way. What tools are we giving you as the user to play your way? First, we're talking coach mode, baby. We are talking coach mode. In coach mode here, we have got coach mode specific cameras for you. You got a plethora of different options that you can use. When you call a play, you can now select the primary receiver on that play. You can audible, you can hot route. All of those things are at your disposal. But the cool wrinkle here, one of my favorite wrinkles when it comes to coach mode for the people that want to use it, is no different than real life. The headset shuts off under 15 seconds. So at that point, you just got to just trust your signal caller to make the play.
My question though.
Next is play call substitution.
My question is, the fact that you're in coach mode, is that online? Like, can you have an online league that's strictly coach mode where everybody's a coach? Because, oh my gosh, like, that would be insane. That would be insane if you could have a coach mode where everybody's a head coach and you can control the adjustments, but you can't control the players. Dog. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's the kind of gameplay I like now. Because, this is why too. And I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent, but I just got to get this out. Like, stick skills is great and all, but that's always been the problem with Madden for me. Is like, it takes the realism out of it when you can have let's say a 60 overall wide receiver who's 99 speed and like mid-level catch capability. When you can have a person user that receiver and go out and just blow past everybody. You know what I'm saying? Blow past a 90 overall cornerback or whatever, whatever the case may be. Like, he just can get he's treated like a much higher overall player because of his speed. And there didn't seem to be enough mechanics to jam him or to really like impact that player so he doesn't like dominate the game just simply because of his speed. You feel me? And speaking of realism, I know speed is it's one of them things that is a game record. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it doesn't have it shouldn't have a huge impact. It should, but I just think it should be measured, how often. Like, it should be a very low chance that some guy who has very little technique, very little route running capability, very mid hands, but all they got is speed, for them to have a game where they have, over 200 receiving yards or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's not realistic in my opinion, especially in the NFL. So yeah, I think it's important that those kinds of things are addressed, and it seems like they just are being addressed. This year just is making me so excited. Like, I don't know when the last time I was excited for a Madden game. Not like to this level. So
This is just a quality of life feature. Last year we introduced dynamic substitutions where you can sub on the fly. Our goal here is to keep you out of the pause menu. But one thing you asked us for was that I want to sub before the play. A guy's banged up, wear and tear, he's a little rattled. You know, he's like Chad playing at USC. We got to get him out of the game. So again, you can go ahead and make that substitution right away.
that's always been there though. You could always make substitutions prior to the snap. They had well, I'm not gonna get into it. That's been there. So maybe they just made it simpler and more easy and obvious.
Jump the snap. An awesome defensive end, defensive line move where you can really enhance how well and how fast you get off the ball.
I like that because now you can get those penalties for. Oh man, that's nice. That's nice.
I'm not going to spoil what RTG has for you, but you're
Okay.
going to see there's a lot here and where you could use this. The tackle stick. Now you no longer have to come off the stick to really make a play. Down is still cut stick, up is still hit stick. Left is lunge, and right is wrap. So you're all there. You can use all those 4 options right there on the right stick to tackle how you want. And then the big thing, which I think a lot of you are going to like and prefer for a lot of you competitive guys out there. I didn't think I should drop that ball. I should have caught that.
I think this is probably the top feature that's going to make a lot of those competitive players happy. And even for myself, like playing online, if like this reminds me of 2K's like green light when you're making the shots, when you're taking your shots rather. This makes a lot of sense. This green light, I mean green or just the timing based catching for this. This makes so much sense. Took a long time to get here, but bro, like they're on a roll. They're on a roll, and I'm feeling the direction everything is headed in, and they're just doing so much. Like they've done so much groundwork to this point that it seems like maybe that's what it was taking. I don't know. I don't want to get no excuses, but I'm just glad we're here. This is a feature I'm definitely looking forward to. I think this also harps back on the thing I just was mentioning about those low overall guys. So their meter is going to be, it better be super hard, you know, for a guy who has 0 or very low hands in turn, low rated hands versus a guy like this. And of course, the situation has to come into factor too. How many DBs are out there? How many, whatever. But yeah, this is a smart addition to this year's game.
This is just an ongoing debate that's happened for 30 years, right? Because you've been subject to the dice rolls. Well, now, if you choose, you can now turn on timing-based catching, and you decide those outcomes.
Now, I'm going to just say this too. For me, I'm not going to utilize this because I like to play like CPU versus CPU, which is now head coach mode or just coach mode. Like that's the way I'm gonna be playing. So I want everything to be a dice roll. I want it to be like not a guarantee or not always in my favor or what have you. Not skill based, basically.
And then the last one's bringing it home was pre-play controls. It was about time that we made some controls, but with these controls, I promise you, you are faster than ever. And then last but not least, some of you tried to leak this online. I saw it. And you got kind of close, but you'll be even more excited because we got a lot more here than you even put in your videos. But again, winners win. You are not going to get us. So lock in for one of the best features that this studio has ever released. All right, let's talk timing-based catching. You got 3 different colors you really have to worry about. You got red, which means you're late. As soon as this thing hits the red, it's a drop. You've got yellow. Yellow, it is now subject to the dice roll. Your yellow size is dependent on the ratings of your receiver. Again, you're a little early, you get yellow, you're going to get a drop. You may get a catch. I don't know, same thing as it was before. And then there's green. Oh, the kids love green. They love it in every sport. We're green, okay? We got green here. But the great thing about this with green is it's dynamic. How good is your receiver? All right, what situation's in? Is he covered?
Right.
Are you going for an aggressive catch, a secure catch? Over the years, catching traffic, toe drag swag, mossing somebody, right? That has just all been dice rolls. We've never really been able to solve that other than just giving you the best, based on player and matchup result. That is the most realistic football. But now this is all in your hands. Next, we move into our pre-play controls. And again, let's talk about pre-play controls. When we talk about pre-play controls, we first need to address accessibility. The analogy that I've given everybody here in the studio is that our previous control scheme, especially defensively, is like those who have kids and you're telling them to go clean their room. Usually what happens is they find open spaces, start shoving toys and everything into open spaces, and nothing really gets organized or cleaned properly. An example of that is last year. Up was substitutions, down toggled cameras. Left and right, for some reason, was toggling your defensive line and linebackers, right? Contextually, that didn't make a lot of sense. But we've been trying to add so many new features and give you guys all the power we can. We just needed to go back to the drawing board here. And again, we've done plenty of research. This is no strategy pad where we're adding more clicks. You are faster than ever before. And it all starts here. One of the first examples is just D-line. You want to change your D-line linebackers? It's all right there on the right stick. But you want to change everything and make multiple adjustments at one time. Everything this year starts off of the left trigger and your global coverage adjustment HUD. As you hold that up, you will be able to change your leverage, your technique, and your smart zones. And
That's something that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that because that's something that we couldn't really utilize, or I couldn't really utilize much. Especially the way I like to play, I couldn't use it at all. And that's what I'm looking forward to with this head coach mode. I can't wait to get back into that. But they came out with the ability to show your leverage, so you could have your safeties for closer to the line of scrimmage. You could have them pushed further out, aside, spread apart, deep, or pinched in deep. All kind of stuff. Shading to the right, shading to the left. It was a lot of cool stuff you could do, but it was hard to utilize it much. Especially again for the way I play. I don't play head to head against other people, but in those moments, if you were trying to get it done, like it would kind of take a little bit to remember to do that, because you have to do that pre-play. So yeah, as far as I know anyway, correct me if I'm wrong.
you can do all of that fast. You don't have to keep entering different HUDs and states. So making multiple adjustments here, like I'll show you in a sec, would have taken you 10 plus clicks. No longer is that the case. And then my favorite part about what we've done here is I've had not just new players, I've had fans that have played this game every year, and they only do a certain amount of adjustments just because of the sweatiness, as the people in the streets like to say, of our pre-play control system. I just want to double team a receiver. How do I just roll coverage over somebody? So now when you're holding left trigger, all of the receiver icons will pop up. Pick that corresponding receiver and then just press square, and now you're double teaming them. And then let's say Chad says, that's too aggressive. I don't want to do all that. I just want to roll coverage over him and just take my safety over the top of where he's at. You got that option too. Pick the corresponding receiver, press A or X, and you're good to go. Okay, and then now as you'll see here in this video, here I am using our global custom adjustments, and this is just an opportunity to show you that you can make multiple clicks, be as fast as you can, and again, you don't have to enter different states. In fact, that we have put this through an entire AI model as well to confirm that you are 1 to 5 to 8, maybe 10 plus clicks saved, that we've saved you over time adding this. Will it take some learning? Absolutely, and some muscle memory, especially of the vets out there, but trust us, you'll thank us later. All right, now let's move to it. We're in the home stretch, custom adjustments. Again, a lot of you have heard about this. This is basically your super macro power here, and to make multiple adjustments and really be like your favorite signal caller, right? So this all starts with being able to create the custom adjustment. You'll go into the front end, and really every adjustment that we have from a coaching adjustment perspective, A hot route perspective is all in your hands on both offense and defense. So you will come in here, pick whatever adjustments that you want to call, and then you will save them, and you can save 20 on offense and 20 on defense. But the kicker here is that you can only take 10 into each game. So there is game planning that is going on with this. Once you've made your custom adjustment, so one adjustment could be, I'm going to pinch the line, I'm going to play my corners tight, I'm going to move my corner depth. All right, you can then save that and then call that right here at play call. And then if you say, no, I'm going to wait later, I can call it at pre-play and really shake the defense up. And then my favorite part of custom adjustments is we have a lot of core football fans who have played this game for a long time that I talked about earlier, and they know they're playing with their buddy on the couch, they're playing online, and they know, hey, Farrells is going to scramble. That's all he does is scramble out. Mm-hmm. Now, L1 is the custom adjustment button. You hit L1 and all of these base adjustments are there. So you can stop a quarterback from scrambling, play short routes. You want to stay over the top and not allow any deep passes. You're looking for the screens or any type of RPO situation, hit that. So you just L1, pick that corresponding button. And then we've even got some other special ones too, right? You wanted to disguise coverage or fake your blitz, right? That is all now really at the hands of simply 2 clicks. So this feature is accessible for anybody new coming in or our 1% competitive core players that are as good as it gets. So you've heard everything now that we have with the core of the American football of what we're doing here. So again, what are you looking for? What's that gameplay differentiation to feel like? What should I expect? And what you're going to expect is on the sticks, you're going to see a wide open, just like you've seen before, a very 25 feel in terms of locomotion, but a more authentic defensive style on college. And then in Madden, the game is faster. It is, players are rated higher, the game is just tighter. It's that pro level precision. Playbooks, we've already talked about that, but in college, you know, it's about tempo, creativity, the wide splits of Oklahoma and Tennessee, and then you look at the deeper schemes, more compressed, chess level strategy, that McVay-Shanahan tree of the zone scheme, it is all there in Madden football. And then coverage. Again, what you see is more or less of what you get. You see some flat alignments out there. You see a little rotation. You know, the college game is definitely smarter than what it used to be, but you got bigger windows in the zone. Again, these are student athletes. Yes, they're paid, but they're still student athletes. Where in coverage here, you got a lot more disguised looks, simulated pressures, and just overall smarter adjustments and more adjustments that they can go to in their tool shed. The smarter game is in Madden football. And then in the trenches, you're talking just chaos in the box, bigger run lanes. In Madden, you're seeing tighter gap integrity, really player differentiation and team differentiation in both games and how they're filling the box. And then AI play, right? Big emphasis on AI play. But what's Mendoza going to look like after last year? What does that rookie quarterback look like when he walks in? We wanted to make sure that we are replicating that to its most authentic level. Because these quarterbacks in the NFL level, like my guy Stafford, the MVP, these guys are surgeons. And abilities. Again, we just went over that. You got your stock abilities, you got your percent progression in college. In Madden, they're unlimited. Stars are feeling like stars. And then in home field advantage, crowd energy becomes a weapon. And then now in Madden, as you've wanted, it's really all about noise management and executing under pressure. And there's nothing like being able to swag out with your favorite player, right? And so now you've got 50 different inputs on both college and Madden to let you taunt how you want, do pageantry celebrations in college. Again, the world is your oyster here. So again, I'd like to thank you. This is the most authentic, in-depth game we've ever shipped. There are features in here that are as deep and better than anything that we've ever done. We are excited for you to get your hands on both college and Madden. You're going to feel that true differentiation that you've always wanted and been feeling over the past couple of years. So I thank you. Prepare for one hell of a football season. I'm excited to see you guys on the sticks. All right, back to the guys in the studio.
Welcome back to the showcase. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. We are here talking Madden NFL 27. And because there's not much news in the football world right now. We decided to bring Myles Garrett on stream to talk now. I am here with Clint Oldenburg, line producer, Madden NFL at EA Sports. Clint, thank you for being here.
Yeah, pumped to be here. I don't know if I can live up to Myles Garrett, though.
Well, but we'll save your reaction to the trade for maybe Thursday. We'll let you formulate get all your thoughts in order. Clint, right off the bat, what are you most excited for players to see in Madden NFL 27?
Well, I know that everyone's here to see the game and see all the new things that are coming in the game and the innovations that we have. But what I get most excited about these events is to put faces with our developers. I like our players and the media to be able to see who we are as people. We're just as passionate as they are. We love the sport just as much as they are. And I get really excited for our people to get some exposure with our players.
Fantastic. And you now line producer with Madden NFL 27. Tell us a little bit about what that role means and how you're combining previous experiences.
That's a great question. So for anyone on the call here that is familiar with me from previous years, you might remember me as the gameplay guy. I've always presented on behalf of gameplay. So I was the production director on gameplay for at least the last 5 years. I recently took a new role with the organization. I'm now the line producer of Madden. OG has come up. He's running gameplay now. And I'm responsible for Madden Core. I took over for Mike Mahar, who a lot of the people on the call also know. He's now the American football executive producer. So some role changes, but just like always, we're just here to make football games.
Love it. Thank you, Clint. So we're going to keep taking your questions. And, before we jump in, we're going to have Clint walk us into, the Madden NFL 27 breakdown.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to talk to you all on the call today and first let you know what you can expect today from our team. And we're going to start by talking about you first, the fans, creators, our players. I'm going to start with just a really quick story from my background. When I was playing college football at Colorado State, I was chosen my senior year to be a chaperone for our recruits. And I had a conflict come up and I had to go to our recruiting coordinator. And I said, what do you want me to do? I got this conflict. I got this thing that I got to do with the guys on the team. Same day we got these recruits. And he said, let me tell you something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And I do. And the coach said to me, there's no players more important in our program than our current players. They're the most important. We can always adjust to the new recruits. And that's what I want to pass along to our players. There's nobody more important to us than the players that play our game every single year. It's your game, and your feedback matters more than anything else to us. Nothing makes our people happier than when we get a good story from a player who really loves playing Madden NFL. And to support that, I created a Slack channel a couple of years ago. It's called the Core Player Feedback Channel. This is our most active channel of all of our mini Slack channels, and almost half of our team are active in this channel. And anytime anyone posts something on social media or around the video game universe at large, it gets posted in there and we have discussions about what we might do about a complaint or how we might build on something that players really like. So it's your game and we're really glad that you're here to share it with us. Secondly, we're going to talk about us next. So you're going to hear from some really passionate individuals that are just as passionate about this sport and this game as you are. And many of us started right where you are. A lot of us have played the game our entire lives. Some of our earliest gaming memories are with Madden. The people you're going to hear from today are working hard to final the game. We still got a couple more weeks to get this thing out the door. So what you're going to see is not yet finished, but these people are representing our larger team. They love this sport and they work very hard, and I'm really excited that you get to hear from them today. As we continue to make changes to our game each year, there's two things that we're never going to change. Those are our table stakes, our authenticity and our innovation. These are the things that you've come to expect from Madden for almost 40 years now. That's weird to say, 40 years. This is at the core of everything we do. Specifically, you're going to hear today from presentation, art, and visuals on all the details they're putting into the game to make our game more authentic. Why do we do that? That's what our players tell us that they want the most. Authenticity and innovation. Innovation, players always want new experiences and more ways to play the game. We have a key innovation coming in franchise mode that we're really excited to tell you about today. Put those things together, innovation and authenticity, you get the premium Madden experience that our players have come to expect. And this year that also includes a premium PC experience. We're collaborating with our partners on college, and we're going to bring PC up to spec with the rest of our platforms. And our product promise, finally, what's unique about this year, Madden 27? It's your league. Your decisions matter more than ever before. This is all about player agency. And again, this is what players told us they wanted. They want agency and impact in the decisions they make. The NFL is so dynamic today. Every choice has the potential to completely change the landscape of the league, or a career, or a team. We had Phillip Rivers playing, Joe Flacco, meaningful ball last year. The year started with Micah Parsons switching teams. The Patriots completely turned it around, going from 4-13 to 13-4 this year. The league is so dynamic, and we know that our players don't want to just watch that unfold. They want to control the chaos. And what you'll hear today inside a franchise, superstar, even ultimate team, and what you already heard from gameplay is your decisions matter. Truly, this is your league. So buckle your chin straps, lock in. This is Madden 27.
That was solid, yo. That was a nice little tidbit of information. He killed that. That was a solid presentation. But I was really feeling like skipping that. That was well done. Okay, Chad. RG3. So on point. A lot of this stuff is really on point, y'all. Seems kind of hyper-realistic. This is impressive.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh Lumen, lead designer of Franchise Mode. You guys know that I've worked on this mode on and off for over the last 25 years, and I promise.
And now the hotel deal highlights from Trivago.
Really?
Jurgen, this couple just saved
Come
over
on,
$100 a night on
Got a
Trivago.
commercial.
They got their tactics right.
Let's see it again. This hotel normally costs $285 a night. And boom, $170.
Trivago just makes it look easy. World class.
Score your own deal on Trivago when you compare hotel prices and save up to 40%.
That's what winning looks like.
Hotel Trivago.
The Burger King value menu lets you make the rules.
I decide how I keep it cool. Brain freeze.
From chicken fries to the Whopper Jr., build your $5 duo or $7 trio now featuring Freezy Kings.
Hi, I'm Sammy. Nice to meet you. Want one? No, I'm good. Those are actually my favorite ones. I eat those like every day. What's your major? Biology.
I promise you, I have never been more excited to show you what we've got planned for Franchise this year. You will change the league, your league, one decision at a time. And those decisions are going to be made through something that will change the game forever. Introducing the Persona Engine. In Franchise Mode this year, we're pushing the envelope and doing something no other sports game has ever dreamed of doing before. We're finally making players actually feel human. Every single player has DNA that defines who they are personally. They have a mindset determined by their personal situation and a career focus. What do they personally want to accomplish in the NFL? That's right. For the first time in sports game history, players will now think for themselves. No more mindless robotic behavior that you see in every sports game on the market. 37 players wanting to re-sign their contract on week 3 of the regular season every single year. Players will now evaluate and react to their own careers personally. So I know what you guys are thinking. Is this just more scenarios, more storylines? Nope. In fact, that's not how you're making key decisions anymore. You see, the Persona engine is allowing us to finally deliver those wish list features you guys have been asking for. That's right. This is the year you've been waiting for. This is your Oprah, you get a car moment. But before we get to that, let's talk about how the Persona engine changes your week to week, all season. Last year, we introduced weekly strategy, coach abilities, play sheets, a real game planning feature that finally gave you something meaningful to do every week as you prepare for your opponent. But you and I know running a franchise isn't just about game planning, it's also about team planning. And you did that using this in Madden 26. But the franchise team felt like you guys needed something more, something that made you feel like you're actually running an NFL franchise. Thanks to the Persona engine, we're delivering emergent actions. Our goal is to make your week to week feel less like a chore, less like spam in your inbox, and deliver everything you need to care about. Not spammy, not unorganized. Instead, they're going to be interactive, dynamic, visual, prioritized, and most importantly, relevant. You can even delegate every single emergent action, and we're going to tell you exactly what the plan is to deal with that before you delegate it. There's no guesswork at all. And yes, each one is interactive. You make decisions on every single emergent action. They're not just informational pop-ups anymore.
I gotta say, this
And
is
when
something
you
I'm
make those decisions,
definitely excited about the level of interaction you have with the you know, management of your players, the contract negotiations, the other things they're gonna mention here shortly.
or any other team does, we'll pay it off with an awesome news delivery service. News in Madden 26 was fine, but fine's not good enough, is it? Not when the Persona engine is able to deliver something more, something bigger. In Madden 27, you'll have a news ticker on every screen. You're not going to miss anything ever. There's also a news center that can be accessed from any screen. Are you in the depth chart, season stats? It doesn't matter where you are. It's always available with the press of a button. And you can filter these stories. If you want to just see stories about your team, the draft, other human-controlled teams, we're giving you complete control. You're even going to get breaking news in picture with Scott Hansen audio.
That's going to be
delivering every important news story around your league. And yes, that means when you trade your first round pick for a washed up quarterback, your entire league is going to be notified about it immediately.
I'm not gonna lie.
Think we got
This reminds me a lot of head coach, like the way some of these things I'm visualizing. That sounds a lot like head coach.
something else we can scratch off the wish list. What about an interactive new way to negotiate contracts? I know you guys have asked for that for years, because this was your negotiation experience in Madden 26, right? Toggle some numbers, you press a button. Every experience kind of always feels the same. But we all know the Persona engine can deliver something more, something better. So we're introducing interactive contract negotiations, a brand new minigame powered by the Persona engine. Negotiations will be challenging, they'll be interactive, and most importantly, they're going to be fun. We're making a video game, not bank software. The Persona engine makes every single negotiation unique, thanks to each player's Persona DNA. Negotiating with Tyreek Hill should feel a lot different than negotiating with Saquon Barkley, right? And as you can see, you're going to have curveballs thrown your way, leaks, rumors, all kinds of stuff that can affect your negotiation in real time. But you can't have new negotiations without real contracts, right?
That's right.
Let's knock off a few more of those wish list items that you've been asking for.
Come on.
That's right. In Madden 27, you're getting guaranteed contracts, void years, contract incentives, no trade clauses, custom contracts. Free agents will sign deals longer than 1 year, and you'll actually be able to negotiate with players for the first time outside of their last year.
I'm not gonna front. I've seen this portion of this presentation already, but bro, oh my gosh, bro, guarantee like this whole contract stuff. You know, I don't know. For those of us who are very much in the weeds of managing your team, this stuff changes everything, bro. You can just have so much more control over the I don't know how you want to phrase it, but I would consider it pacing of, yeah, I guess, your contracts. Like, you know, you can have, like, for instance, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and we have Jeffrey Simmons. He's our largest contract. We got Cam Ward on his rookie deal. We just drafted Tate. I can't think of his first name, but the receiver, you know what I'm saying? So we got the core pieces on offense. Our O-line needs some work, but when it comes to the contracts, bro, you can you could probably just do some creative financing to give your team a chance, you know, to compete. You know, during certain stretches of your the evolution of your team. Those void years, I mean, bro, it just gives you the opportunity to sign players that would be probably not possible to sign otherwise. The incentives, you know what I'm saying? You could just put so much money behind that. That way you're not paying a guy who's not producing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, again, a guy on my team that comes to mind, I can't even think of his name right now. Calvin Ridley, our receiver, the veteran receiver we got. I mean, he did not produce much at all for us. So, you know, I would give him incentives. Like, hey, I would re-sign him under, rather with incentives in mind. Like, look, I need you to make 80 catches for this dollar amount. You make 100 catches, you get this dollar amount. 120 catches, this dollar amount. You know, the X amount of yards. You know, and see, I haven't seen any of that stuff. I haven't seen the details behind the incentives. So, you know, that's the part where it sounds good, but let's see the execution, EA, because, you know, you guys right now you're doing very good, you know, tugging at the heartstrings of all of us vets and all of us, like, especially the franchise guys. Like, you're tugging hard on the heartstrings. I can't help but smile when I see some of these features, but execution. So, you know, because I'm telling you what, if they actually execute on all of this stuff like well, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's good, bro, they have earned so much goodwill from those of us who are diehards. I've seen a lot of the comments out there where people saying it's just a glorified patch, or it's just a, you know, same old crap, blah blah blah. Look, like I said at the beginning of this video, man, you learn to appreciate what you have, man. You don't complain about how long it took to get there. I mean, you're welcome to, but it doesn't change anything. Like, we all know how long it took to get here, but at the end of the day, it's not worth complaining over. I'm just happy to see the effort again. It seems like they're actually trying to make an effort, and I really do hope this is because of the new ownership. Because even this whole presentation, they've never done it this way before. So I'm hoping that the new ownership has a lot to do with the way they're approaching this game. And yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this thing unravels. But let's get back to the video.
You guys have asked for all these. We're not delivering 1 or 2 or 3. We're delivering everything here, all thanks to the Persona engine. And I expect that you want more wish list items. So what about a brand new offseason free agency? Introducing Free Agent Frenzy. It's a new offseason live event that lets everyone in your league battle it out to sign the best free agents over a 12-hour period using that cool new negotiation mini game that I showed you. Think of it as the first 12 hours right after free agency opens. Don't worry, we're giving you all the information you need on the screen. You'll see persona DNA, health, ratings, stats, everything you need that you don't need to go hunt for. Well, that's about it for Franchise in Madden 27. But that can't be right. We still got features left on the wish list, right? Yeah, there's a lot more on this wish list, and it's all powered by the Persona engine.
I also wonder if they're going to give us the control to, I guess, not allow certain players to retire. You know what I'm saying? Or just like a verification of, okay, do you want to allow this player to retire or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get a maximum of 2 extensions, like not extensions, but vetoes, I guess, veto power to not allow that player to retire or talk him out of retirement. Convince him, because then that won't matter. If you could talk a player out of retirement, that'd be cool too. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if it was possible, I'm pretty sure they would have mentioned it. But that's something down the line I would like to see us get some control over as well.
I don't know if you guys know how long I've personally waited to read some of these off to you. That day is finally here. Get ready.
Let's go.
We're talking about player roles, contract holdouts,
Yes.
trade demands, restricted free agents. What about all of the franchise tags instead of one of them and their tenders? Transition tags, undrafted rookie free agents that you can actually bid on with your buddies in a live event. That's a personal favorite I've wanted for years.
All right, so listen. Player roles, that sounds to me like, okay, I'm joining the team. I'm gonna be a role player. I'm gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna be 4th on the depth chart. So there's gonna be times I might just be giving the starter a breather. So I'm expecting maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 snaps a game, maybe 10 snaps a game, however much, whatever, depending on what position you're at. Let's say receiver. Or if you're the 3rd string running back, that's a role player. Shit, even a quarterback, you could be the backup quarterback. You're a role player. You're just there to be like kind of a lifeline in case our starter gets hurt. Or you could be a backup, as in being the vet who's trying to help coach up our starter quarterback, who may be a rookie or whatever, what have you. So I hope that they again implement that properly, because that can be killer. Contract holdouts, oh my gosh, bro. For so long, bro, contract holdouts were like, I don't know. That's just gonna add so much to the game, because now you can't just pick whoever you want. Now it seems like, even how players have that it's not a character rating. It's like all the way at personality. They have a personality rating. That personality rating, if it's a high personality rating, those are those guys that might be more willing to do a contract holdout, or they may be more willing to be stern at the negotiation table, or curse out or argue with the head coach, and challenge leadership or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Just be that knucklehead in the locker room. Bro, we needed that to give some life to the locker room, add some life, because everybody, you know what I'm saying, there's never nothing gets shaken up in the locker room. So that's major. Trade demands, that's major. Restricted free agents, franchise tags, all those other tags, and the rookie free agency stuff, bro. That's depth. That's the attention to detail that's been missing from this game for so long, bro. So it's just a breath of fresh air to, again, read all these things they're coming with. And they got another little bit more coming. Like I said, I've seen this tidbit of the presentation. I think after franchise, though, I haven't seen anything else. So everything else is going to be fresh. But, bro, this stuff is is A1. I'm just so happy to hear these things coming. So let's get back to it.
All of this is going to be powered by the Persona engine in franchise mode. Plus, yes, there's more, How about a real coach mode
That's
for
my
all of
mode
you
right
that
there,
don't
baby.
necessarily have the Twitch skills? Shout out to my NFL head coach fans out there. What
Yes,
about
sir.
real coordinators, dynamic weather, weekly recap 2.0 with player of the week,
Mm-hmm.
injury reports? What about tiered abilities that actually progress for players over time? And how about, you're going to
Major.
love this one, a special coach archetype that has unique play sheets and abilities you can't find anywhere else in Madden. You only get it if you play Dynasty in college football this year.
Okay, so that's the one thing I heard a lot of buzz about from people. And when I say buzz, I just mean like people weren't really happy about that. So people were talking about it. Not happy that you have, archetypes hidden behind, I won't say hidden, but it's locked behind, uh, you know, purchasing another game. And I get it. I don't know how major that archetype is going to be. And it's not probably anything core or fundamental, you know what I'm saying? So I get that. But I mean, I get it. It's to me it's not that serious. It's not that big a deal. Um But that being said, like I understand people's frustration because they just you give an inch and they're gonna take a mile. If it's this archetype this year, who knows what other archetypes might be locked behind a paywall or the purchase of another product next year. You know what I'm saying? I can understand the frustration that could be attached to something like that. So um I will say if you want people to buy the other game though, which I need to do, is allow importing and exporting of draft classes. So in college, because that's for sure what would have made me buy it. I mean, I was already on the edge of buying it, but right now I'm thinking I'm just gonna focus on Madden. But bro, like, if I could have exported the draft classes from college football 27 to import for each draft class in Madden 27, bro, it's no doubt I'll be playing both. I don't think I'd be playing much other games, bro, because it'll be straight up dynasty mode and franchise mode for me. That would be it. I'd be locked in because I'm gonna be trying to get through these seasons in college so I can get the draft class. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and then, oh my gosh, you gotta have a nice cohesive, you know, universe going on, so to speak. you know? So, whenever they get to the point where they're ready to bring back imported or exported draft classes from the college equivalent of Madden, you know, come on, man. Like that's what's gonna be the ticket to getting both games to sell.
We're even fixing the Super Sim playbook problem. A lot of you talked to us about using the Bengals playbook, using a 70 overall quarterback, throwing for 4,000 yards. We've got brand new playbooks that fix that problem. How is that for a wish list?
Solid.
Yeah,
Solid.
that's what the Persona engine is unlocking for you in Madden 27. The game has changed. Franchise mode has changed forever. Now throwing it over to Spade, who's going to walk you through Superstar mode.
Thanks, Josh. What's up, everyone? My name is Isaac Etheridge. Most of you know me as Spade, and I'm super excited to walk you through what you can expect in Superstar this year. Let's start with the biggest news of it all. For the first time in history,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sweating Superstar for real. I wanna find out about like anything else, like head coach or something. This Ultimate Team. I guess I'm not into Ultimate Team, but let's see what they got to say
The new
about that.
upgrade system. This new system brings player upgrades in Ultimate Team more in line with franchise and dynasty modes.
Honestly, I was hoping they would talk about head coach somewhere. So, I don't want to do skip
At the
around
center
too
of that
much.
system are skill points, which are tied directly to individual player items. In College Ultimate Team, players can earn skill points through gameplay objectives, exchanging items, and converting.
Oh, see, that's the thing. They keep bouncing back and forth between college and NFL, so it's a little hard to Follow too much. All right, let's see what's up.
You all want things closer to reality, and that's what we are here to give you. For Madden NFL 27, one of our visual pillars is secondary motion. What that means is
head towards launch. Next up, you'll hear from Yinka on all things visual in Madden 27.
Okay.
All right, everybody, what's going on? My name is Yinka Alade. I'm the character artist for college football and Madden 27. I'm going to go over the visual enhancements in Madden 27, starting off with secondary motion. In-game visual authenticity begins with what players are doing once the ball is snapped. You all want things closer to reality, and that's what we are here to give you. For Madden NFL 27, one of our visual pillars is secondary motion. What that means is all the little secondary movements that happen on the player, we're using all those to take this motion to the next level. And with that, you can see things like this, where we have the dangling mouthpiece that's hanging off of the player's mouth. And then we're also doing different things that's going to look really, really cool.
It looks like the hair moves.
Now
too.
our helmets, they jiggle and they move and they jostle all around.
Solid.
So whether a player is jogging, running, getting tackled, how their helmet moves affects that physics and that movement. These small movements bring a lot more realism to the game, but with that, we didn't stop there. We also went in and we adjusted the pass sizes to match real life, because that is the things that you guys were asking for. You asked for it, and now we're trying to deliver. We listen and see all the comments that you guys give us. So when you're posting on social media, we're out there, we're lurking in the comments, and we're actually reading your comments and actually making sure that we can actually bring the things that you guys want to the game. Helmet size and tilt tuning are all in the game now. So one of the things that we saw is that sometimes the helmets were a little bit too small and they weren't tilted the right way. So in order to be authentic as possible, we're looking at making the helmets the right size, giving them the right tilts and the right angles. So with all this all fits in the secondary motion, but it's not just for the players.
I think this is some of the stuff that makes us a little frustrated, because, bro, like, what do you mean? Like, obviously they were the wrong size, but like, why is it that player feedback is what's telling you to fix the helmet size? You think that's not a big deal? Like, come on, man. Presentation is everything in this game. Like, so you would think that that would be obvious. But again, not one to complain. I just got to point out some of the sentiment that exists is because of things like that. But I'm glad they fixed it.
So for our referees, have it too. So with our referees, we added cloth dynamics. So now when you see the refs, when they're calling the PI, an offsides, a holding call, all that would look better than ever now. Refs are also now out here throwing flags. So all their movement with secondary motion just brings more and more life to Madden and makes it look a lot more to what you see on Sundays. And then next up, I want to go over what we have now, which is dynamic weather. We are continuing to bring you the best visuals in sports gaming with dynamic weather, and with that comes dynamic snow. So pretty much what this means is we're going to have dynamic accumulation of snow throughout the game. And with that, you're going to see different surface collisions where the players are actually hitting the snow, sliding through it, and actually cold, adding power to play. Every fall, every slide is imprinted on the field by the absence of the snow in those areas. Right here, what we're talking about with the snow. As you can see right here, you can see every footstep. You can see the field degradation of the snow. Bro. It brings a lot more realism and makes it look a whole lot cooler.
This looks so smooth.
And with that, we didn't just focus just on the actual snow.
That was gameplay,
We're also
bro.
doing this for rain. So now
This
rain
looks
is dynamic.
insane.
And rain can be dynamic both ways. You can start a game where there's no rain, and then the rain gets light, and then the rain becomes very heavy between plays or even between the periods. Or you can start off a game where the rain is actually very heavy, and then it gets lighter throughout the game. These visual differences make it look super cool and make everything feel a lot more authentic and a lot more realistic. And with these updates to snow dynamics and rain dynamics, with that, we knew we had to go in and also update our degradation system. So with that, in the first time ever in Madden, you'll actually see snow on the players' jerseys, their pants, their whole entire uniforms. You'll actually see snowdrops and different things like that. And also because football is a very hard game, we got the players that run around, they're sweating, they're working hard. You'll start seeing the sweat accumulate on the players' jerseys and their pants, where you'll see that their actual uniforms are getting a little bit darker as it gets saturated with sweat. And over here on the right, you can see our players, they're a lot dirtier now. So now you're gonna see dirt and grime everywhere. You'll see it on their shoes, you'll see it on their socks, their jerseys, their pants, their helmets.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish they would have shown us like different extremes, because that ain't really all that dirty right there. I mean, it's dirty, but it ain't like, it ain't filthy like what you would expect from a rain game or what you would expect from perhaps even a snow game or whatever. The grass stains or the helmet smudges or transfer of paint, whatever from the uniforms from some of those hard hits, like
all over the place. We're trying to make sure that when you're playing the game, you feel like your players are working hard. You feel like they're out there in the gridiron, getting dirty, in the trenches, making those plays. And you'll visually see that on your players now a lot more in Madden 27. And with that, we're going to move on to dynamic lighting. Now, with dynamic lighting, one of the things that we want to achieve is that we realized that we had an East Coast bias, and now that bias is gone. When it came to it before, the time of day was pretty much the same whether you're on the West Coast or the Midwest or the East Coast. Now, the West Coast time at 5:15 p.m. PST looks truly like a West Coast time. We have different sun positions that deal with what the sun looks like on the West Coast versus what it looks like on the East Coast, and we take those positions and we deal with them during the actual calendar year. So where the sun position is in January is very different than where the sun position is in September, whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast. And with that, I want to show you some of our new actual skies that we have. So we're doing this for clear skies, partly cloudy, and overcast. We have different sun angles to add a whole lot more realism to what you see in the game. And with that, I want to give you guys a little sneak peek at our upgraded team selection screen.
Fire.
Here is where you select your teams, right? And here you can see right now, this is a representation of the...
It's so, just this alone, which I don't understand why it was like this, but now you can actually see the uniforms that your guys both teams are wearing instead of looking at one and then having to look at the other afterwards. It's just very weird.
Super Bowl that just happened with the Seahawks and the Patriots, but in the background you can see that nice little partly overcast cloudy sky at that time of when the Super Bowl is, where it's right in between twilight going into night, and it looks really, really cool. Next, we're going to talk about Sights and Sounds 2.0 for Madden 27. So when it comes to what you see on Sunday, we want to get as close as possible to that. Different uniforms, different stadium dressings. For an example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they come out with their creamsicle jerseys, they change out the field walls, they change out the end zone, the mid logo, and now we also do that too, and we also switch out the mascot. So when you wear your creamsicle uniforms with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're gonna get Buckle Bruce as your mascot. But if you go with the more traditional loadout with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you'll get the regular mascot that comes out, which is Captain Fear, and the regular stadium loadout that you're used to looking at. And we're here, this gives you a view of the field from the bird's eye of what it looks like to change out the stadium's look based on the uniform the team is actually wearing. NFL teams do this across the board, and we're trying to make sure that we're matching all that to the T to give you exactly what you see on Sundays. We're also adding in new stadiums. So every year, teams are always adding in new stadiums here and there, and here's a new stadium for the Buffalo Bills. It's currently a work in progress. We're still working on it, but when it's done, it's in the game. And with that, the NFL has been going out and playing their games in vastly different countries. The NFL has a number of games outside of the United States, and we want to represent that as closely as possible. Here is Melbourne Creek Ground Stadium, located in East Melbourne, Australia. This will be the first game, the first regulation game ever in the NFL season held out in Australia. So we want to make sure that we actually had that stadium and we matched it up. And who's going to be out there? It's going to be the LA Rams versus the 49ers, and it's going to be September of this year.
That tells me, they only mentioned in this one, but obviously if they're doing this one, they got to have, a bunch of other places that they've played overseas.
And added to that, now you can take your team and you can practice your best bread and butter plays in the new indoor practice facility. In there, you can do full-on team 11-on-11 or just the offense. Now there's a new practice venue in Madden, and you're taking it into the indoors.
Yo, it's interesting. I'm just looking at the windows over here. and they got like, you know, some sort of animation of outdoor activity, you know, people walking by or whatever. It's probably, that's kind of cool.
And with that, I want to touch on our avatar advancements, and we will show you some of the updates we've done for the player and coach avatars in Madden 27. For the coach avatar, we now bring a bunch of new gear options for you. So now we're giving you the opportunity to decide whether you want to be a coach that wears a hat or wears a visor, or you can decide that you don't want to wear either one of those. And with that, you can decide what kind of headset do you want. Do you want the ear to be on the right, the left, or do you want the double earmuffs, right? And with that, we brought a whole bunch of new clothing items with tops and different bottoms to allow you to give your coach a little bit more personality on the sideline. And then for your superstar avatar, we have 32 brand new player heads to choose from. And what we want to do this year is make sure that those heads feel a lot younger, as if they're coming right out of college, because when you start your superstar experience, you're starting at the combine.
So I just hope this also translates into the draft classes, which I would imagine it does. But again, this is one of those indirect assumptions that you would think only makes sense to do, but who knows? It could have been overlooked or not done. So, but I hope draft classes, you know, get some love.
So with that, we also wanted to make sure that we had a lot more variety in races and looks, because since the NFL was so worldwide now, if you look at college, we have a lot of different players, whether they're white, Hispanic, black, Asian, they're all playing football, and a lot of these players are now actually entering the NFL, so we wanted to make sure we put that representation in there. And then with that, we also added the brand new lean body type. So now you have 5 different body types that you can choose from when you're making your superstar player. And with that 5th body type, it allows you to make sure that you have that perfect look that you're trying to get. With that, we added in better and finer details to all the heads and the faces that you can actually pick up in there. And now the superstar player visuals have hit a new level in Madden 27. And here, we're going to go over some of our authenticity updates. So, by the way, I just want to make sure that you're looking at this and you know that these are not photographs. This is what Madden 27 looks like today. Yeah. And in the NFL is always honoring players. So every year we have our MVP, we have our offensive players of the year, defensive players, rookies, offensive and defensive players of the year. And with that, when you win that award, you have a gold NFL shield that is on your jersey. We wanted to make sure that we had that same exact detail in the game, and we have that in the game now. So when you do play Madden 27, you'll see that these players right here have the golden NFL shields on their actual uniforms.
That's dope. I didn't peep that.
And then another small but major detail that we're adding is the new first down arrow and pylons. So you can see right here, they're new, they got the cameras on there, and they're fully dynamic too. So if you're out there trying to avoid a tackle running out of bounds, you can knock that thing over and it'll just go flying everywhere. And with authenticity comes in new rookies. And these new rookies are people who could potentially become future faces of the NFL, which means that we want to make sure that we represent them really good and true to their likeness. So first here we have the Raiders QB and the first pick of the NFL draft with Fernando Mendoza. And out here he's looking nice, he's looking crisp, he has a really good groomed hairstyle going on, and he looks very authentic to what he looks like in real life. I'm wishing him luck out there, because taking that Raiders job is definitely going to be something that's going to be tough and very challenging, but I'm hoping for the best. And then again, I want to reiterate here that these are not photographs. This is literally what Madden 27 looks like in real time. So right here, we're showing off Jeremiah Love, who's the #1 3 overall draft pick, and he's a running back for the Arizona Cardinals. And you can see here, we're trying to get every detail possible, every pore, every bump, getting their beard, their hairstyle exactly the way it is, because we're trying to make sure that we're doing the best likenesses in sports gaming.
Incredible, bro.
And then the next player that we have coming up is the last of our rookies that I want to show you today is Mansour Delane. And he's the 6th pick in the NFL draft and the new cornerback of the Chiefs. With this, you can see that he looks amazing. He has his hairstyle. It looks really, really good. We have his face paint. And we're trying to hit all that detail to make sure that when you see these players, you know who they are and they're actually looking like what they look like in real life. We have plenty of more rookies and likenesses added to the game that I can't show you today because it would take too long. And also with that, we're adding in new veterans and pros likenesses also into the game. So I can't wait to show you guys more player likenesses up until the release of Madden 27. And then with that, I want to talk about some other signature details that are small things, but they're big details that make the NFL the NFL. So with that, we want to start off with our cover athlete, Caleb Williams. We had to get his famous painted fingernails in the game. It's part of his swagger, it's part of his style. And I'm showing you right here painting on his fingernails that it's in the game. And with that, next up, every year, we always got to have new uniforms that come in from different teams. So right here, the Tennessee Titans, they came in with new uniforms that look amazing. They look awesome. And right here, you can also still see our secondary
Hold on, let's just take a
motion where you see
to look
the
at
mouthpiece
that looks amazing, bro. So that's Wandale Robinson, I believe, number 4. That's obviously TP, Tony Pollard, number 20, and then that's Cam Ward. I'm surprised they didn't put Carnell Tate. That's the receiver we just drafted, and I think he's wearing 14 because somebody else has 17. Who has 17? Don't recall, but it's probably like a kicker or a punter or something. I don't know. But all right.
It is dangling off of the face mask of this Tennessee Titans player. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not really a fan of the Tennessee Titans, but I'm a big fan of this new uniform they got. It's completely dope, and it is awesome.
Yeah, it looks dope.
And then with that, the Washington Commanders with their new black on black on black on black on black uniforms. I love the new W with the arrowhead logo they have going on the helmet. And to me, I think this is going to be the go-to uniform for all the Washington fans out there. This is one of the more dope uniforms I see up there in the NFL that's coming out, and it looks amazing. And then with that, as we did last year, we're continuing this year, we're continuing the NFL rivalry uniforms, and they're back. So we've partnered with the NFL to highlight these 8 teams' new rivalry uniforms in Madden 27. Now, I can't show you these new uniforms yet because these teams haven't revealed them, so you'll have to wait. But trust me, we have them up in there.
So these 8 teams specifically have rivalry uniforms. Interesting. That's fire. And my team is one of them. How nice. Jerseys in this game is about to be something else, bro.
And they look truly unique and super amazing. I truly think the fans will really be happy to actually check out these rivalry uniforms and actually use them in the game because they're going to be some of the more unique ones you'll see. And one of the things I want to close this out with, that I want you all to know that this is the fastest Madden game ever. And by that, this is what I mean. Now, our fans who are playing our game on the Nintendo Switch 2 can enjoy 60 frames per second in the gameplay. So now you get nice, fluid gameplay with the amazing Madden NFL visuals that you're used to. Silky it out better.
Coming to Madden NFL 27. On the Prez team, we love to give our players what they want, like authenticity, of course, and to delight them in ways they did not expect. So that's why we began the show with something players want, like more NFL traditions, and something unexpected, like the remake you heard of a classic Madden theme song. And speaking of traditions, I gotta say, that memorable scene from earlier today of the skydivers in Denver, it's one of my personal favorites. It began as a storyboard on this whiteboard and grew into a partnership with the Battlefield team for art and animation assets. We love getting to those details because, as my friends say on college football, every team is someone's favorite. So with that said, your favorite team selection will now be represented in the...
Ooh, so this is what the dashboard looks like. Okay.
main menu with premium content from NFL films. Choose the Bears, for example, and you'll see our cover athlete in acknowledgement of your fandom. Last year, we introduced a variety of sights and sounds with our broadcast packages, including an exceptional collection of custom audio and visuals for primetime games on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Players and reviewers loved it, so now we're back with seasonal broadcast packages for games around Halloween, and Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Cool.
And these seasonal variations are not limited to franchise and superstar based on the virtual in-game calendar. You'll also see and hear these new broadcast packages in Play Now, Online Head-to-Head, and Ultimate Team based on the real-world calendar. Here's a montage.
Oh, no. I do not want any spoil. I don't want to see it right now, dog. Yeah, I want to save that joint for when I'm playing it. Oh man. All right.
Guys, where your decisions matter, including your choice of coordinators. Perhaps one of them is Brian Flores, operating from the sideline like he does in real life, guiding the defense. But if he changes his mind and decides to move to our new press box, well, yeah, we've got that covered. Our halftime report is back with its patent-pending innovation that unlocked the ability to see highlights from your friends' games in your online franchise and to hear about them from our beloved host, Scott Hansen of NFL Red Zone. We also show CPU highlights as well, like this one, which will be part of a much larger library of highlights this time around as we continue to bring the world around you to life in franchise mode. And then there's the return of the weekly recap, which will be part of a much larger library of highlights this time around as
So the final 29-50. Drake made through. See, these stats are solid too. 29 attempts for 50. Oh, I'm sorry, 50 attempts, 29 completions. Jeez, my brain is farting right now. 292 yards, one touchdown, 20 and 44, 235, one touchdown. Yeah, I mean these numbers are. I mean, I would say the attempts are. I don't know. I can't really say they're high, honestly, because you're gonna be throwing the ball more. I wonder how many times the ball was run though.
we continue to bring the world around you to life in franchise mode. And then there's the return of the weekly recap and its unprecedented trifecta by including your friends' highlights and CPU highlights and your own highlights as well. We've earned more than 12 million views of the weekly recap since the launch of last year's title, and that number is still climbing even after the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, we've been adding a variety of new segments, which is really just a list of fan requests, like injury reports, the league leaders and various stats, updates on the MVP race, analysis on teams in the playoff hunt, and the latest on trades around the league.
Perfect.
We're also going to spotlight a player of the week, which, as you'd expect, is based on performance. So it might be my highlights, or a friend's highlights, or your highlights that we'd all get to see in our online franchise as we collectively discover who won the Player of the Week award and the bragging rights. When Madden NFL 27 launches in August, you're going to hear some iconic and unexpected NFL songs with those highlights that you'll recognize. Believe me, we just couldn't use them here. Because as I mentioned at the beginning, we love to give our players what they want and delight them in ways they did not expect. So on behalf of the presentation team, thanks for your time and inspiration.
All right, I'm ready for football season. It's time to wrap up the College Football 27 and Madden NFL 27 previews you got there. Thank you for being here to learn about the games that have made such a huge impact on all of.
So listen, man, I'm completely thrilled with what they've done, and I just hope that, honestly, I just hope that the implementation of all the stuff that they've added is just executed properly. You know, I'm most looking forward to head coach. They didn't deep dive into that the way I was expecting, so perhaps they have more content they're going to be having over the next month and a half. I mean, we all know they have plenty of time, but bro, the stuff is so solid that it does kind of make me get a little bit of an itch to buy the college game just to have some exposure to some of the changes that I can expect to see in Madden. You know, so man, I don't know. But yo, head coach looks, I mean, the fact that they acknowledged head coach players, and I keep calling it head coach, it's coach mode in Madden, but it's sounding like it's going to kind of be head coach within the game. So but only you're gonna have access to all the kinds of adjustments and such that you know would need to have access to make them useful. Man. Anyway, well, that's that, y'all. Tell me what you think. What kind of adjustments do you think they missed out on? Like, you know, things that they should have added and didn't. You know, what do you think of head coach mode, or coach mode. I keep calling the head coach. What do you think of coach mode, and how do you think that is going to look over the next few years? Because these are things that they're adding now that they're going to probably be adding on to over these years. So I really like the fact that they seem like they're trying to give everybody their flavor of football. The sim guys got their stuff. I don't want to say arcade, but the competitive scene, they got their side with the green light catches and all that kind of stuff. I love that mechanic. Just even just from a, hey, I want to play my friend online. You know what I'm saying? There's times where I have my stick skills involved, but when I'm wanting to run a franchise, I just prefer a more kind of a ratings based system, so that there's some differentiation between a star and average player. Because the problem is, like, if I'm playing, let's say I'm playing as Tom Brady, my mistakes are his mistakes. So just because he's a 99 overall quarterback doesn't mean he's going to play like a 99. It's because of my mistakes, and vice versa. I could have a 60 overall player, and if my stick skills are good, he's gonna play like a 90 overall player. I don't want that. I don't like that, and it affects quarterback the most. So by playing in head coach mode, you get to eliminate that. And I'm telling you, if there's a way, if they allow us to have head coach leagues, there goes all my attention, because I'm not doing anything else but playing that, probably till GTA come out. At least that's gonna hold me down for a long time though. Even when GTA come out, I'm gonna still be on Madden heavy, especially if they have it that way. Because oh my gosh, like, it's one thing to have the computer play well and make adjustments and so on and so forth. That's going to be very, very, very competitive and challenging. But being able to go up against other head coach, like humans, so at that point now it's about your cerebral strategy, your football knowledge, your the adjustments you're making on the field based on your personnel, based on the depth you have. You get injuries. Hey, who's your backup? What is he capable of? Can he perform? Can he, like, oh my gosh. And then factoring into that equation, the trade demand elements, and the what's it called? Damn, the fact that players can just have reasons they don't want to be on your team. They could demand a trade. They could hold out. The holdouts, all that stuff is gonna be insane, bro. The contract negotiations, it's just gonna be so cool, bro. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. If you like this video, I would appreciate if you just like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.
Of our lives. Thank you to the developers for their dedication, creativity, and tireless commitment